Hello, and welcome. Tonight we listen. Imagine yourself standing where the world narrows to sound, a deck under your boots, a thin ribbon of wind, and the great hush that follows. You will not be asked to relive horror. Instead, we let quiet become the room's music. Hear the soft creaks of a vast hull, the distant lapping of water against metal, a breath lifted into colder air. Small human sounds, a muffled murmur, a whispered name, the rustle of cloth, thread through the dark like candlelight. Each tiny noise becomes a little island to rest on. Let your shoulders loosen. Breathe in with me, long and even. Breathe out and let the sounds hold the space between your thoughts. For the next hour, we slow time, 10 minutes stretched into many, and let the silence itself sing you toward sleep.
The first step into this quiet space is simply to arrive. You do not need to bring anything with you. No worry, no history, no memory of the day you have just lived. All you need is your attention, soft and open, ready to receive the night. Find a comfortable stillness now, whether you are lying down in the warmth of your bed or sitting in a quiet chair. Let your body become heavy. Feel the support beneath you, solid and sure. It holds you without effort. You are safe here. You are anchored. Take a breath with me. Inhale, slow and deep, filling the quiet spaces inside your chest. Exhale, long and smooth, letting the air carry away any tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your hands. Now, let the walls of your room dissolve. Let the ceiling fade into a vast, dark sky. You are standing on a deck of weathered wood. The air is cold, clean and bracing against your cheek, but you are warm inside your coat. The night around you is enormous. There is no horizon, only the seamless meeting of black water and black sky, stitched together by the faint, cold light of stars. Listen. The first sound is the silence itself. It is not an empty silence. It is a dense, velvety silence, filled with the presence of the ocean. It is a silence that stretches for 1,000 miles in every direction. Within this silence, a sound emerges, a low, distant creak. Cree. It is the voice of the ship, a massive steel leviathan settling into the trough of a gentle swell. The sound travels through the metal bones of the hull, up through the wood of the deck, and into the soles of your boots. It is a slow sound, a patient sound. It speaks of weight and endurance. It reminds you that you are standing on something built by human hands, something strong, floating in the center of the deep. Listen closer. Just beyond the rail, there is water. It is not a roar, it is a whisper. The ocean is calm tonight, a mirror of obsidian. The water laps against the steel skin of the ship with a gentle, rhythmic cadence. Lap, lap, shh. It is the sound of a cradle rocking. It is the sound of breath moving in and out of the world's lungs. It is consistent. It does not hurry. It simply is. Feel the wind. It is a thin ribbon of air moving past your ears with a faint, high sigh. It touches your face like a cool hand, brushing away the heat of the indoors. It carries the scent of salt and ice, a clean, mineral smell that wakes the senses even as it soothes the mind. Now, bring your attention closer, inward, to the very center of your own stillness. Listen to the small sounds of your own presence.
There is the sound of your breath. In, a soft intake of air. Out, a quiet release. It is a private rhythm, a small metronome keeping time against the vastness of the night. It is the most reassuring sound of all, the sound of life continuing, steady and unbroken. Notice the sound of your clothing. As your chest rises and falls, fabric moves against fabric. A wool coat shifts over a cotton shirt. A silk scarf brushes against a collar. Rustle, swish. These are the intimate sounds of being human. They are soft, dry sounds, the friction of warmth against warmth. They are the sounds of comfort. They tell you that you are wrapped, covered, protected from the chill. You are here, in this moment, suspended between the sea and the stars. There is nowhere else you need to be. There is nothing else you need to do. You are simply a listener, standing watch over the quiet. Let the sounds wash over you, the deep groan of the ship, the whisper of the water, the sigh of the wind, the rustle of your own breath. They layer together, weaving a tapestry of calm. They create a space where your mind can rest, a space where time slows down, stretching out like the dark water, smooth and unbroken. You are safe in the sound. You are held in the night.
We lower our attention now. We let it drop from the high open air of the deck, down through the soles of your boots, and into the massive, hidden body of the ship beneath you. You are standing on a floating city, a cathedral of steel suspended over the abyss. It is easy to think of a ship as a solid, silent object, a statue in the water. But tonight, in this deep quiet, you realize it is not silent. It is singing. It is a song of physics. It is a song of weight and water meeting in the dark. Listen. Crum. The sound begins deep in the keel, far below the waterline. It is a sub-bass note, so low that you feel it in your chest before you hear it with your ears. It travels up through the ribs of the vessel, vibrating through the steel plating, passing through the teak of the deck, and finally reaching you. It is a vibration of immense power, held in check. This is the hull settling. The ship is vast, ton upon ton iron and coal and glass, and as it sits in the water, it shifts, it adjusts. Just as a house settles in the cool of the night, popping and creaking as the temperature drops, so too does this great Leviathan. Imagine the metal itself, miles of steel plate, cold and hard. It is contracting slightly in the freezing air. It is responding to the pressure of the ocean pushing against it. And in response, it sings these low, long notes. Ria. The sound begins deep in the keel, far below the waterline. It is a sub-bass note, so low that you feel it in your chest before you hear it with your ears. It travels up through the ribs of the vessel, vibrating through the steel plating, passing through the teak of the deck, and finally reaching you. It is a vibration of immense power held in check. This is the hull settling. The ship is vast, ton upon ton of iron and coal and glass, and as it sits in the water, it shifts, it adjusts. Just as a house settles in the cool of the night, popping and creaking as the temperature drops, so too does this great Leviathan. Imagine the metal itself, miles of steel plate, cold and hard. It is contracting slightly in the freezing air. It is responding to the pressure of the ocean pushing against it, and in response, it sings these low, long notes. Grian. It sounds like a bow being drawn slowly across the thickest string of a cello. It is a melancholic sound, but not a sad one. It is resonant. It is the sound of tension being released. It is the ship finding its comfortable shape in the water. Focus on the rhythm. It is not the fast, frantic rhythm of a machine. It is a slow, geological rhythm. Wait for it. There, a shift in weight, a sympathetic groan from the metal near the railing. It is answered seconds later by a deeper thrum from the bow. It is a call and response. The steel bones of the ship are talking to each other. I am here, says the rivet. I am holding, says the plate. I am heavy, says the keel. There is a profound comfort in this sound. It reminds you of the sheer scale of what holds you up. You are supported by a masterpiece of engineering. Every creak is a testament to strength, not weakness. It is the sound of the ship breathing, expanding and contracting with the sea. Imagine the water outside. It is fluid, chaotic, constantly changing shape. Imagine the hull inside. It is rigid, structured, ordered. The sound you hear is the friction between these two worlds. It is the sound of order meeting chaos and holding its ground. Let your imagination travel down the side of the ship. Picture the rows of rivets, thousands of them, cold and wet in the darkness. They are the stitches that hold the skin together. They are tight, they are unmoving, but the metal around them flexes. This tiny microscopic flexing is what creates the music of the hull. It is a lullaby of industry. Thrum. Tick. Occasionally you hear a sharper sound, a metallic tick or clink, perhaps a chain shifting against a bollard, perhaps a pipe cooling down deep in the engine room. These sounds act like punctuation. They mark the passing of the seconds. They are crisp and clear, cutting through the low, muddy drone of the hull, like stars cutting through a cloud. Feel the floor beneath your feet. The wood of the deck is damp with the night air. It acts as a sounding board, amplifying the vibrations from below. If you stand very still, you can sink your body to the ship. You can feel the slow, majestic roll of the vessel. It is barely a movement at all. It is just a gentle tilting of the horizon. Lean left, slow and easy. Lean right, slow and easy. The creaking accompanies this roll. It rises in pitch as the ship leans and falls as it rights itself. It is a breathing cycle. The ship inhales as it rises on a swell and exhales as it settles into the trough. Creak. Groan. Let yourself be rocked by this song. It is older than you. It is the song that every ship has sung since the first log was hollowed out and pushed into the river. It is the song of buoyancy. It is the song of displacement. There is no urgency here. The hull does not hurry. It knows its job. It pushes the water aside with a calm, relentless pressure. You can hear the authority in the sound. It says, I belong here. I am the master of this space. Listen to the spaces between the creaks. In those gaps, the silence is heavy and waiting. It creates a sense of anticipation. You know the next note is coming, but you don't know exactly when. This unpredictability is hypnotic. It keeps your mind tethered to the present moment. You cannot think about tomorrow or yesterday when you are waiting for the next song of the steel. You are simply listening. You are a witness to the secret life of the object. Deep below, in the cargo holds, in the bunkers, the sound is likely deafening, a symphony of groans. But up here, on the open deck, it is filtered. It is softened by the distance and the open air. It reaches you as a murmur, a whisper of giants. It feels safe. It feels like being inside the belly of a whale, protected from the cold ocean by thick skin and blubber. The ship wraps around you. Its noise surrounds you. You are a small, warm point of life,
carried by a great resonant body. Let the vibration travel up your legs. Let it loosen your knees. Let it soften your hips. You don't have to hold yourself up. The ship is doing it for you. You can surrender your weight to the deck. You can surrender your worry to the hull. Grum. It sounds like a heavy door closing in a distant room. Squeak. It sounds like a tree branch bending in the wind. These are the sounds of the material world. They are honest sounds: metal, wood, water, gravity. There is no pretense in them. They are exactly what they seem. In a world of complex thoughts and confusing emotions, the simple honesty of the hull's song is a relief. It grounds you in the physical reality of the night. You are here. The ship is here. The water is here. And everything is holding. As the segment draws to a close, let the deep bass notes of the hull become the foundation of your relaxation. They are the drone note under the melody of your breath. They are the earth beneath your feet. They are steady. They are sure. They will continue to sing long after you have stopped listening. Let the sound settle into your bones. Let it be the hum that carries you deeper into the quiet.
We have listened to the massive, groaning song of the steel. We have felt the deep, geological shifting of the hull beneath our feet. Now, we draw the circle of our attention tighter. We leave the vast architecture of the ship and retreat into the intimate geography of your own body. We move from the macro to the micro, from the industrial to the personal. Here, in the center of the dark, you are a small island of warmth. The night air is biting, a crisp, clarifying cold that smells of salt and ice, but you are separated from it by layers. Focus on those layers now. Focus on the sound of your own covering. You are likely wearing a heavy coat. Imagine it. It is made of thick wool, dense and coarse. It is a fortress against the weather. Listen to the sound it makes when you move, just a fraction of an inch. Scritch, hush. It is a dry, fibrous sound. It is the sound of thousands of tiny wool strands brushing against each other. It is a friction that speaks of safety. Move your arm slightly, pressing it against your side. Rub, swish. The sound is muffled, absorbed by the density of the fabric. It is a quiet, domestic sound out here in the wildness of the ocean. It reminds you of home. It reminds you of blankets, of rugs, of the sheep on a hillside. It is a grounding texture. Lift your chin. Feel the collar of your coat pressing against your jaw. Perhaps there is a scarf there, silk or soft cashmere. Listen to the difference in the sound. The wool is a low, scratchy whisper. The silk is a high, smooth sigh. Sleep. These sounds are so close to your ears that they drown out the ocean. They become your entire world. They envelop you. You are wrapped in a cocoon of woven noise. Every time you shift your weight, every time you turn your head to look at the stars, the fabric sings a quiet song of protection. It says, I am holding the heat. I am keeping you safe. Now, move your attention inward, past the coat, past the scarf, to the very engine of your life, your breath. In this quiet, the sound of your own breathing is surprisingly loud. It is the rhythm section of your existence. It is the tide rising and falling within your own chest. Notice the temperature of it. When you inhale, the air is cold. It rushes in through your nose, sharp and thin. It wakes up your sinuses. It feels clean, like drinking ice water. It carries the taste of the Atlantic, brine and vastness.
In. When you exhale, the air is warm. It leaves you heavy and humid. It carries the heat of your blood. It softens the cold air in front of your face. If you could see yourself from the outside, you would see a cloud forming with each breath, a pale, ghostly plume of mist that appears for a second, swirling in the starlight, and then vanishes into the wind. You are painting the night with your breath. You are leaving a trace of yourself in the air, over and over again. Let us slow this rhythm down. In our normal lives, we breathe shallow and fast, reacting to the rush of the day. But here, there is no rush. The ship is slow. The ocean is slow. You can afford to be slow, too. Let's sync your breathing with the calmness of the night. I will count for you. We will inhale for 4 seconds, hold for a moment of stillness, and exhale for 6 seconds. Ready? Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Feel the cold air filling your lungs, expanding your ribs against the heavy wool of your coat. Feel the tension rising up and out. Hold, just for a second, resting at the top of the wave. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let the air pour out of you. Let your shoulders drop. Let the weight of the coat pull you down toward the deck. Let the sound of the exhale be a long, soft sigh that blends with the wind. Let's do it again. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, drawing in the peace of the horizon, the silence of the stars. Hold, stillness. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, releasing the worry, releasing the cold, letting the warm breath create a small shield of heat around your face. One more time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, deep and steady. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, long and slow. Feel how your body has changed. You are heavier now. You are more settled. The small, frantic vibrations of the day have smoothed out into long, rolling waves of relaxation. Now, listen past your own body, just a few feet away. You are not alone on this deck. There are others standing at the rail or sitting on the deck chairs wrapped in rugs, but they are not noisy. The night has hushed everyone. Listen for the tiny human sounds they make. Somewhere to your left, a muffled cough. It is buried in a handkerchief, a dull, soft thud of sound. Cough. Somewhere to your right, a whisper. Not words, just the shape of a voice, a low murmur of reassurance, a mother speaking to a child, or a husband to a wife. Shh. It is a tonal sound, devoid of content, but full of meaning. It signifies presence. It signifies we are together in the dark. It is not a lonely silence. It is a shared silence. Hear the shuffle of a shoe on the deck. Scuff. Someone shifting their weight, just as you did. A reminder that they are feeling the same cold, the same sway of the ship, the same awe at the stars. Hear the snap of a lighter, perhaps, or the strike of a match. Hiss. Tiny flare of sound, followed by the deeper inhale of smoke. A small ritual of comfort performed in the shadow. These micro sounds are like tiny anchors. They keep the vastness of the ocean from feeling too overwhelming. They remind you that life continues, even here in the middle of nowhere. They are the sounds of a village at rest. You are part of this village. Your breath joins their breath. Your rustle joins their rustle. Together, you create a soft, living layer of sound that sits on top of the hard, mechanical sounds of the ship. It is a fragile layer, made of soft tissues and fibers, but it is resilient. Return to your own breath now. Let it find its natural rhythm again, no longer counted, just easy and flowing. In, out. Feel the warmth of your body trapped inside your clothes. It is a furnace you carry with you. Appreciate the work of the wool. Appreciate the weave of the scarf. They are the silent guardians of your heat. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Visualize the fabric rising and falling. Visualize the white mist of your breath dancing away. You are warm. You are breathing. You are here. And for now, that is enough. The simple act of existing, of drawing air and expelling it, is the only task you have. You are a breathing creature on a floating whirl, drifting gently through the dark.
We leave the intimacy of the coat and the breath now. We turn our faces outward again, away from the warmth of the body and toward the vast, cool mystery of the night. Imagine you are stepping closer to the ship's rail. You place your gloved hands on the wood. It is smooth, varnished teak, cold and damp with the Atlantic mist. You lean forward slightly, peering over the edge. You are high up. The deck is a cliff, and below you lies the ocean. On a night like this, the water does not look like water. It looks like black glass. It looks like polished obsidian. The sea is famously calm tonight, like a mill pond, the sailors say. There are no white caps. There are no rolling waves crashing against the side. There is only a flat, endless sheet of darkness that stretches out to meet the sky. But even in this stillness, the water speaks. Listen to the sound of the ship cutting through the surface. Shh. It is a continuous, sibilant whisper. It is the sound of silk being torn very slowly. The prow of the ship is sharp. It slices the water open with surgical precision. The water does not fight back. It yields. It parts to the left and to the right, curling away in long, smooth ribbons of foam. Focus on that curling sound. It is a fizzing noise, like the bubbles rising in a glass of champagne. Fizz, hiss. It is the sound of effervescence. Millions of tiny air bubbles are being churned up by the movement of the hull, catching the starlight for a brief second before popping and disappearing back into the black. It is a clean sound. It sounds cold. If a sound could have a temperature, this one would be freezing. It clears the mind. It washes away the sticky, cluttered thoughts of the day and leaves only a cold, blank slate. Now listen to the water alongside the hull, directly below where you stand. Because the ship is so large and the ocean is so calm, the interaction is gentle. It is a conversation between the steel and the sea. Lap. A small wave slaps against the metal plates. Lap. It is a patient, rhythmic tapping. It reminds you of a finger tapping on a window pane. It is not aggressive. It is simply the water checking to see if the ship is still there. Are you heavy? Yes. Are you moving? Yes. Sometimes the rhythm changes. A slightly larger swell rolls in. Gurgle. The water rises up the side of the hull, then falls back.
It creates a hollow, liquid sound, echoing in the cavernous space between the water and the deck. It is a deep, throaty sound, like water pouring into a jug. It speaks of volume. It speaks of the sheer amount of water that is holding you up. You feel a sense of vertigo, not of falling, but of awe. The drop is significant, yet you are safe behind the rail. You are a watcher in the tower, observing the moat below. Let your ears stretch further out, away from the hull, into the darkness of the open water. Out there, the silence is broken by tiny, mysterious sounds. Plink. Splash. What are they? Perhaps a fish jumping. Perhaps a bit of wake cresting and falling over itself. In the absolute quiet of the night, these tiny sounds carry for miles. The acoustic quality of the air over the water is sharp and crystalline. They sound like chimes. Imagine a handful of small silver bells scattered across a black velvet cloth. Ting, pling. They are scattered, irregular notes. They do not form a melody. They are random. And because they are random, they are relaxing. You cannot predict them, so your brain stops trying. You simply wait for the next one. It is a lonely sound, but beautiful. It emphasizes the emptiness of the ocean. You are the only solid thing for miles. Everything else is liquid and light. Watch the wake of the ship spreading out behind you. Even in the dark, you can see the paler foam stretching back like a road into the night. Roar. The sound of the wake is a low white noise. It is a static hum that sits underneath the sharper sounds of the lapping and the chimes. It serves as a blanket of sound. It covers the world. It is a constant hush that tells you we are moving. We are leaving the past behind. Every second, you are moving further away from the land, further away from your troubles. The wake buries them. The water washes over them. Focus on the visual of the starlight on the water. The stars are reflected perfectly in the black mirror. When the water ripples, the stars dance. They stretch into long lines of light, then snap back into points. Glitter. You can almost hear the sparkling. It sounds like high-frequency dust. It sounds like magic. The calmness of the water is hypnotic. It draws you in. It invites you to stare at it until your eyes lose focus, until the boundary between the sea and the sky disappears. You are floating in a void of peaceful darkness. There is a rhythm to the ship's passage that interacts with the water. The engines are far below, a steady heartbeat, but up here they translate into a pulse in the water. Thrum, wash, thrum, wash. It is a rocking motion sound. It cradles you. It says forward, forward, forward. You feel the cold air on your face again, contrasting with the visual of the cold water. It creates a sensory harmony. The world outside is cold and clear. The world inside your coat is warm and soft. You are the balance point. Notice how the water sounds different at the bow compared to the stern. At the bow, it is the sound of breaking, of entering, of cutting. Shh. At the stern, it is the sound of closing, of healing, of the water rushing back together to fill the hole the ship made. Murmur. You are standing in the middle, suspended between the breaking and the healing. Let the sound of the lapping water slow down your own internal clock. The ocean does not measure time in minutes or hours. It measures time in tides, in swells, in centuries. Against this backdrop, your own racing thoughts seem less important. They dissolve like the foam in the wake. Lap, hiss, plink. The water is indifferent to you, and that is a relief. It doesn't want anything from you. It doesn't need you to be smart or quick or brave. It just is. It invites you to just be. Lean your head on your arms, resting on the rail. Close your eyes. Let the visual of the black glass fade and let the sound take over completely. You are floating. You are held up by the displacement. You are surrounded by the gentle, cold music of the Atlantic. The taps against the metal are like a clock ticking very slowly. Tick, a shoosh, tock, a shoosh. It is the lullaby of the abyss, but it is not scary. It is deep. It is profound. It is the sound of the planet sleeping. Allow yourself to drift on this sound. Let it carry you. You are lighter than the water. You are safe on the island of the deck. The chimes are getting fainter now, or perhaps you are just drifting further away from them. The white noise of the wake is becoming a soft pillow. Just water, just wind, just night.
The water's song is a lonely one, a monologue of the deep. But as you stand at the rail, letting the hiss of the wake fade into the background, you become aware of another layer of sound. It drifts toward you on the light wind, fragile and ephemeral. It is the sound of humanity. You are not the only soul awake in this floating city. There are 2,000 others sharing this night with you. And though the deck seems deserted, the air is alive with the ghost of their presence. Listen. It starts as a tonal shape, not a word. It floats down from the upper decks, or perhaps it rises from the steerage promenade below. It is indistinct, smoothed out by the distance and the wind. It sounds like a cello note played softly in a room down the hall. It is a voice. You cannot tell if it is a man or a woman. You cannot tell what language they're speaking. It might be English or Swedish or Italian or the lyrical lilt of Irish. The specific words have been washed away, leaving only the emotion. And the emotion is calm. It is a murmur, a low rhythmic oscillation of pitch. Ba-da-dum. Think of the context. It is late. Most people are asleep. The ones who are awake are speaking in hushed tones, respecting the silence of the sleepers. They are leaning in close to one another, their heads touching, their voices dropped to the register of intimacy. Listen for the cadence of a conversation. Murmur. Pause. Murmur. Soft laugh. That laugh is a tiny spark in the dark. It is not a loud, raucous guffaw. It is a soft, breathy chuckle. Aha! It sounds warm. It implies a shared joke, a moment of connection, a hand squeezed in the dark. It reminds you that even here, suspended over the void, people are finding reasons to smile. Now shift your ear to a different frequency. Listen for something higher, sweeter. Ah. Is it a song? Perhaps a mother singing a lullaby to a restless child in a third-class cabin. The melody is simple, a few notes rising and falling like a small wave. It is a universal tune, the sound of comfort. It drifts through the open portholes, catches on the wind, and brushes past you like a feather. It is a fragment, a snippet of a melody that hangs in the air for a second and then dissolves. But in that second, it paints a picture. You see the child's heavy eyelids. You see the blanket tucked in. You feel the tenderness of the singer. Now listen for something deeper. Bass rumble. Da-doom, da-doom. This might be the voice of a crew member on watch,
speaking to a mate. It is a professional sound, steady, low. It is the sound of vigilance. It tells you that someone is awake so that others can sleep. It tells you that the ship is being cared for. These voices do not intrude on your solitude. They deepen it. They form a choir of presence. They are like the background hum of a hive, a sonic texture that says, life is here. Imagine the sound waves traveling through the night. They leave the mouths of the speakers, warm and moist. They travel through the cold, crisp air. They bounce off the steel bulkheads. They curve around the smokestacks. By the time they reach you, they are just whispers. They are the acoustic shadows of people. Shh. Sometimes the wind plays tricks on you. It snatches a word and carries it clearly to your ear for just an instant, disconnected from any sentence. Night, star, tomorrow. These single words are like poems. They hang in the void, glowing with meaning. Tomorrow, the promise of the destination. Star, the beauty of the journey. Night, the reality of the moment. You feel a sense of kinship with these invisible strangers. You are all traveling in the same direction, carried by the same current. You are all wrapped in the same darkness. Their voices are the threads that bind the ship together. Let the voices blend with the other sounds you have collected. The creak of the hull, the hiss of the water, the rustle of your coat, the murmur of the people. It creates a symphony of the specific moment. It is a sound that has never existed before and will never exist again. Allow yourself to be lulled by the unintelligibility of it. If you could hear what they were saying, if you could hear the gossip, the worries, the plans, your mind would wake up. You would start to analyze. You would start to judge. But because it is just sound, just tone, your mind can rest. It is like listening to a stream bubbling over rocks. You don't ask the stream what it is saying. You just let it bubble. Bubble, murmur, hum. It is a sonic blanket. It wraps the ship in a layer of humanity. It makes the cold steel feel warmer. It makes the black ocean feel less empty. There is a gentleness to it. No one is shouting. No one is arguing. The night has stripped away the sharp edges of human interaction, leaving only the soft core. You lean your head back against the bulkhead, closing your eyes. You let the distant voices wash over you. They sound like dreams. They sound like memories. Maybe you hear the echo of a voice you know, a grandmother, a friend, a lover. The ambiguity of the sound allows your memory to fill in the blanks. It becomes a comforting presence from your own life, visiting you here on the deck. Hush. The voices seem to be fading now. Perhaps the conversation is ending. Perhaps the singers are falling asleep. The choir is thinning out, leaving more space for the silence to return. But the feeling of them remains. You are not alone. You are surrounded by a floating village of souls, all dreaming, all breathing, all hoping. And you are the listener. You are the one who hears the song of the ship. Take a breath and let the murmur settle into your chest. It is a warm weight. It is the sound of us.
The voices have faded. The murmur of the floating village has retreated into the labyrinth of cabins and corridors, leaving you alone on the open deck once more. The human warmth recedes, and the elemental reality of the night returns. Now it is just you, the metal, and the stars. You turn your face upward. The sky is not a roof, it is an infinite opening. In the middle of the Atlantic, far from the haze of cities, the stars are shockingly bright. They are not soft, twinkling lights. They are hard, burning points of ice.
They look like diamonds scattered on a floor of black marble. There is a sound to this visual coldness. It is the sound of the wind moving through the high rigging. Whee! It is a thin, high-pitched whistle. It sounds like a flute played by a ghost. It sings through the wires of the Marconi antenna, through the cables of the davits, through the gaps in the railings. It is the music of the spheres, translated into air. And beneath this high celestial song, there is the terrestrial percussion of the ship itself. The Titanic is a creature of iron and rivets. As the night deepens and the temperature drops further, the metal contracts. It talks. Tick. A sharp, distinct click from a ventilator cowl near your head. It sounds like a coin tapped against a window. It is the sound of metal cooling, shrinking, settling. Silence. Clank. A heavier sound from further down the deck, perhaps a chain shifting in its housing. It is a dull, flat note. It speaks of weight. These sounds are sparse. They are not a continuous drone like the engines. They are isolated events. They punctuate the silence like commas in a long sentence. Tick, tingle, creak. Listen to the reverberation. When a metal object strikes another metal object on this ship, the sound doesn't just stop. It travels. It rings. Ding! It vibrates through the deck plates. It hums in the handrails. If you are touching the rail, you can feel the ghost of the sound lingering in your fingertips long after your ears have stopped hearing it. The whole ship is a bell, waiting to be rung by the motion of the sea. This interplay between the high wind and the hard metal creates a soundscape of stark beauty. It is clean, it is minimal, it is the aesthetic of the machine age. Imagine the sheer height of the funnels above you, massive towers of steel reaching up toward the stars. They are silent giants now, emitting only a faint, warm distortion in the air above them. But occasionally, you might hear a deep, hollow boom from within them, the echo of the furnaces far below, a heartbeat rising up the throat of the ship. Humph. It is a comforting sound. It means the heart is still beating. It means the fire is still burning. But look back at the stars. They are so still. They do not care about the ship. They do not care about the cold. They are the definition of calm. Pick one star, a bright one straight overhead, Vega perhaps, or Sirius. Stare at it. Let its steady, unblinking light anchor your gaze. Now listen to the wind again. The wind is the breath of the cosmos. It has traveled thousands of miles to touch your face. It is older than the ship. It is older than the ocean. There is a contrast here that is deeply relaxing. The metal is hard, man-made, temporal. It clicks and groans. The night is soft, eternal, silent. It wraps and holds. You are standing at the intersection of these two forces. Notice how the metal sounds emphasize the silence. A clink happens, and then the silence rushes back in to fill the hole. It feels deeper than before. The silence is a heavy liquid that floods the deck. You feel a sense of solitude that is not lonely, but sovereign. You are the king or queen of this quiet moment. You have the whole deck to yourself. You have the whole sky to yourself. Let's focus on the singing of the wires again. The wireless telegraph antenna stretches between the masts, high above. In the wind, these wires vibrate. Hum. It is an Aeolian harp, a natural instrument played by the weather. The note rises as the wind gusts and falls as it lulls. It is a mournful, haunting melody, but it is also peaceful. It sounds like a lullaby being hummed by the sky itself. It invites you to let go of the need for words, to let go of the need for meaning, just to listen to the raw physical vibration of the universe. The cold air feels cleansing. It tightens your skin. It wakes up your senses. It makes you feel vividly alive. You are a warm spark in a cold universe. Pull your coat tighter. Feel the contrast again. Warm wool, cold wind, hard metal, soft silence. This is the texture of the night. Imagine the ship moving through the starfield. It is as if you were flying through space. The water is so black it disappears, and you are just floating among the constellations. The clicks of the metal are the controls of your spaceship. The hum of the wires is your navigation system. You are drifting. You are traveling. Ting. A tiny sound of a loose shackle hitting a mast, a little bell of mindfulness. It brings you back to the here and now. You are here, on the deck, safe. The stars are watching. The metal is holding. The night is long. Let the sparseness of these sounds create space in your mind. You don't have to process a constant stream of noise. You can rest in the gaps. You can rest in the silence between the stars. Silence, silence, silence. Click. Just enough sound to let you know the world is still there. Just enough silence to let you sleep.
The stars are beautiful, yes, and the song of the metal is grand. But the ship is not just a machine, and the night is not just a vacuum. The true texture of this moment is woven from the small. It is found in the tiny, almost invisible gestures of the people who are awake. We lower our gaze from the rigging. We stop looking at the infinite. We look, instead, at the hands. In the vast silence of the Atlantic, ordinary actions take on a holy quality. Without the noise of the city, without the rush of business, a simple movement becomes a ritual. It becomes a performance of dignity. Listen to the sound of care. Imagine a deck chair sheltered in the lee of a bulkhead. Someone is standing up to leave, or perhaps to take a turn around the deck. They do not just throw their rented blanket aside. They attend to it. Flap. The sound of heavy wool being lifted in the air. It catches the wind for a second. A soft, dull sail. Fold. The sound of the fabric doubling back on itself. It is a thick, muffled sound. Wool against wool. It speaks of density. It speaks of warmth preserved. Pat, pat. A hand smoothing out the creases. Listen to the rhythm of it. It is gentle. It is not a hurried slapping away of wrinkles. It is a caress. The person is saying goodbye to the object that kept them warm. They're leaving the chair tidy for the next person or for the morning. This sound, the smoothing of cloth, is one of the oldest human sounds. It is the sound of making a bed. It is the sound of tucking a child in. It is a sound that says order, safety, rest. Now move your attention to a pocket. Someone is standing at the rail, lost in thought. Their hand is deep in the pocket of their overcoat. They are holding something small, a coin, perhaps, a lucky penny, a silver sovereign. Clink. A tiny, sharp sound, the metal of the coin touching a ring on a finger, or perhaps a set of keys. Rub. The sound of a thumb moving over the face of the coin, feeling the raised profile of a king or queen,
feeling the milled ridges on the edge. It is a nervous habit, perhaps, or a meditative one. It is a way of anchoring oneself. The coin is hard. It is real. It has weight. In a world of water and air, the coin is a piece of the solid earth. Flip, slap, a soft catch. The coin is tossed a few inches and caught in the palm. It is a playful sound, a small defiance of gravity. It reminds you that even here, people are bored or thinking or just passing time. It brings the scale of the tragedy down to the scale of a pocket. It makes the night feel domestic. Listen now for the sound of feet. Not the heavy marching boots of the crew, but the soft, uncertain shuffle of a passenger in slippers or evening shoes. Scuff, slide, leather soles on damp teak. It is a whispering walk. The person is moving slowly, perhaps afraid of slipping, or perhaps just reluctant to break the silence. Tap, tap. A cane touching the deck, a rhythmic counterpoint to the steps. It sounds hollow and wooden. Click, clack, click, clack. It is the sound of a gentleman taking the air. It implies leisure. It implies that there is nowhere to rush to. The walk itself is the destination. Imagine the courtesy of the night. Two people approach a heavy door leading back into the warmth of the grand staircase. Creak, hiss. One person holds it for the other. After you. Thank you. You don't hear the words clearly, but you hear the tone. It is soft, polite, civilized. You hear the rustle of a dress as a woman passes through. You hear a slight stomp of boots as a man follows, shaking off the cold. These small acts of manners, holding a door, stepping aside, offering a hand, they are the glue of the ship. They assert that even in the middle of the ocean, we are still a society. We still care about each other. Listen now for the sound of lighting a pipe. A man has found a corner out of the wind. He cups his hands, a small shell of flesh. Scritch. The match strikes against the box, a sudden flare of sound, violent and short. The flame catching the wood of the match. Puff, puff, puff. The rhythmic breath drawing the flame down into the bowl of the pipe. The tobacco crackles faintly as it catches. Crackle, snap. And then the exhale, a long, satisfied sigh of smoke. Ah! You can almost smell it, the rich, sweet scent of cherry tobacco or Virginia leaf. It drifts on the wind, a ribbon of perfume that cuts through the salt air. It is a smell of the library, of the fireside. It is a deeply grounding sensory detail. The man leans on the rail, smoke curling around his head. He is at peace. He is performing a small personal ritual that brings him comfort. And by hearing it, you are comforted too. You are witnessing a moment of pure contentment. Notice the sound of touch. A hand gripping the varnished railing. Squeak. Just a tiny friction, skin against wood. A hand brushing a stray hair from a forehead. Swish. Skin against hair. A hand adjusting a collar. Rustle. Skin against starch. These sounds are the sounds of the body checking itself. Am I warm? Am I here? Yes. They are tender sounds. They are the sounds we make when we are taking care of ourselves. Let these small sounds accumulate in your mind. They are like snowflakes. Individually, they are almost silent, but together they create a blanket. The fold, the coin, the step, the match, the touch. They act as a counterweight to the vast, cold ocean. The ocean is huge and indifferent. The small acts are tiny and full of meaning. Focus on the stillness between these acts, the pause after the match goes out, the silence after the door closes, the quiet after the coin is pocketed. These silences are not empty. They are charged with the resonance of the action. They are the white space around the poem of the night. You are standing there, invisible, watching these ghosts of the past perform their small human plays. You feel a surge of affection for them. They are so fragile, yet so insistent on their humanity. You feel your own hands relaxing. You might find yourself unconsciously mimicking them, smoothing your own blanket, adjusting your own pillow. You are joining the ritual. You are part of the continuity of care. The night is dark, yes. The water is deep, yes. But here on the deck, a coat is being folded. A door is being held. A pipe is being smoked. Life is happening in the micro moments. Let the sound of the shuffling feet become a rhythm for you. Left, right, slow and steady, rocking you. Let the sound of the folding blanket become a signal for you. Fold over, smooth down, preparing for sleep. The deck is a stage for these quiet performances, and the audience is the stars and the sea and you. Breathe in the intimacy of it. Breathe out the vastness of it. You are close to the warmth now. You are close to the heart of the ship.
The small sounds of the deck, the coin, the footstep, the match, settle into the silence, becoming part of the woven texture of the night. But if you stand very still, and if you let your hearing drift away from the immediate vicinity of the rail, you might catch the edge of something else. It is a sound that comes from the heart of the ship, rising up through the layers of steel and glass like smoke rising from a chimney. It is faint. It is fragile. It is the ghost of a melody. We know there is an orchestra on board. We know the legend of the men playing on the deck. But tonight, in this guided dream, we do not hear them as a band playing a concert. We do not hear the lively pluck of ragtime or the stump of a dance. Instead, we hear the texture of the music. We hear the music as a form of memory drifting on the air. Listen. It begins as a sustained chord. It is a warm, golden sound, contrasting with the blue-black cold of the night. It is a cluster of notes held by the strings, 2 violins, a viola, a cello, a bass. Focus on the physics of the sound. Imagine the bow being drawn across the string. Shh. It is a tactile sound. It is the friction of horsehair coated in sticky rosin, biting into a string made of sheep gut. It is a raspy, organic vibration. It speaks of wood that grew in a forest decades ago, wood that was carved and varnished and shaped to sing. You can hear the wood resonating. The body of the cello is a wooden lung. It takes the vibration and amplifies it, turning it into a deep, rich hum that travels through the floorboards. Vroom. This sound filters up the grand staircase. It moves through the open doors of the first-class entrance. It swirls around the wrought iron balustrades. By the time it reaches you on the boat deck, it has lost its definition. You cannot make out the tune. You cannot hum along. It is just a wash of harmony. It is a sonic perfume. It sweetens the air.
Think of it as the ship humming to itself. The musicians are not playing for applause. In this quiet hour, they are playing for the comfort of the sound itself. They are playing to fill the silence. They are playing to keep the darkness at bay. Listen to the pauses between the phrases. Breathe. The music stops for a second.
The musicians lift their bows. In that silence, the ocean rushes back in, the hiss of the wake, the click of the metal, and then the bows land again. Sigh. The music pushes the ocean back. It creates a bubble of civilization. Inside the bubble, there is order, there is beauty, there is art. Outside the bubble, there is only nature. The notes drift past you like autumn leaves. They are melancholic, perhaps, a slow waltz, a songe d'automne, but they are not sad. They are nostalgic. They remind you of ballrooms on dry land. They remind you of lighted windows in a rainy city. They remind you of being safe inside. Imagine the bass player plucking a low note. Dum. A soft, round sphere of sound. It rolls along the deck. It is a heartbeat. It steadies you. Imagine the violin climbing high. Eee. A silver thread of sound. It reaches up toward the rigging, mingling with the song of the wind in the wires. It tries to touch the stars. The music acts as a binding agent. It connects the people on the deck. The man smoking his pipe hears it. The couple holding hands hears it. You hear it. For a moment, you are all listening to the same thought. You are all dreaming the same dream. It softens the hard edges of the ship. The steel feels less cold when there is music in the air. The night feels less vast when there is a melody to measure it by. There is a specific quality to music heard from a distance. It feels like a memory before it has even ended. It feels like something you were remembering from your childhood. It bypasses your intellect and goes straight to your emotions. It makes you feel held. The music says, we are here. We are together. We are making something beautiful in the face of the quiet. Listen to the decay of the notes. When the cellist stops bowing, the sound doesn't stop instantly. It hangs in the air. It fades slowly, mixing with the ambient noise of the night. Ooh. It is a gentle fade. It is like watching a light dim slowly. It teaches you how to let go. You find yourself swaying slightly, imperceptibly, to the ghost rhythm. Your breath aligns with the phrasing. You inhale on the rising notes. You exhale on the falling notes. Rise and fall, swell and fade. It is a liquid architecture. The musicians are building a cathedral of air around you, and then letting it dissolve, and then building it again. Notice how the music changes the quality of the silence. Before the music, the silence was empty. After the music, the silence is full. It is vibrating with the echo of what was just heard. It is a pregnant silence, waiting for the next chord. You feel a profound sense of gratitude for these invisible musicians. They are offering a gift to the night. They are knitting a blanket of sound to wrap around the ship. The melody shifts. It becomes slower, more spacious. It is winding down. The waltz is ending. The final chord is struck. Hum. It is held and held and held. The players are dragging their bows to the very tip. They are milking the last drop of resonance from the strings. The sound grows thinner, thinner, translucent, and then it is gone. The silence that follows is absolute, but it is not a shock. It is a soft landing. The music has delivered you gently back to the quiet. You are left with the feeling of the music, like the warmth left in a chair after someone has stood up. It lingers. You stand at the rail, and you can still hear the phantom waltz in your mind. It loops gently, a comforting refrain. Dun-da-da, dun-da-da. It has become part of the ship's atmosphere. It has soaked into the wood of the deck. The
The orchestra is a memory now, a memory of grace under pressure, a memory of beauty in the dark. Let that memory settle in your chest. Let it be a warm light that glows inside you. You are carrying the music. You are the keeper of the song. The wind sighs in the wires again. Whee! The water laps at the hull. Splash. But now, these sounds are musical too. The orchestra has taught you to listen. It has taught you that everything is music if you listen closely enough. The whole ship is an instrument. The whole ocean is a choir, and you are the silence that holds it all.
The music has drifted away, absorbed by the vast sponge of the night. The small human sounds, the footsteps, the murmurs, the folding of cloth, have receded into the background. You are left standing in a bubble of profound stillness. In this silence, you begin to notice a change in the quality of the moment. It is a change in the very fabric of reality. You notice that time itself is behaving differently here. On land, time is a hard, ticking thing. It is measured in schedules, in trains to catch, in appointments to keep. It marches forward in a straight, unyielding line. Tick, tock, tick, tock. It hurries you. It pushes you. But here, on the open ocean, under the canopy of the stars, time changes its state. It ceases to be solid. It becomes liquid. It melts. Feel the heavy, slow viscosity of the night. The seconds do not tick by. They flow. They drip like honey from a spoon, slow, thick, and sweet. You're standing in ship time. Ship time is measured not by clocks, but by the roll of the hull and the beat of the heart. It is cyclical. It circles around you. There is no past to regret and no future to worry about. There is only this long, stretched out now. Imagine the minute hand on a clock face. On land, you can almost see it move. But here, imagine that someone has placed a finger against it, slowing it down, holding it back. The minutes are stretching. 1 minute becomes 10. 10 minutes become an hour. You feel a sense of relief washing over you. You are off the clock. You have stepped out of the stream of urgency. You are floating in a backwater of peace. Listen deep into the silence. Can you hear the pulse? Thump. It is the faintest ghost of a rhythm. It is the heartbeat of the ship's engines, buried so deep under layers of steel and water that it is barely a sound at all. It is more like a pressure wave in the air. It is incredibly slow, slower than your own heart. It is the resting pulse of a giant. Let's use this slow pulse to travel deeper. We are going to count down. We are going to walk down a staircase of numbers, moving from the alert surface of your mind down into the deep, quiet basement of sleep. I will count, and you will drift. With each number, let the time stretch a little further. Let the world slow down a little more. 10. Focus on the deck beneath your feet. It is solid. It is holding you. You don't need to hold yourself up anymore. Let the muscles in your legs soften. Let your knees unlock. Feel the gravity of the planet pulling you gently downward, rooting you to this spot. You are heavy. You are here. 9. Look out at the horizon, the line where the black ocean meets the black sky. It is soft and blurry. Let your vision soften with it. Let your eyelids grow heavy. They feel like thick velvet curtains wanting to close. You don't need to see the stars anymore.
You can let the visual world fade away. 8. Feel the cold air on your cheeks. It is a numbing, pleasant cold. It smooths out the worry lines on your forehead. It relaxes the tiny muscles around your eyes. Your face is a mask of peace. The wind is washing away the thoughts of the day, blowing them astern, leaving your mind clear and empty. 7. Bring your attention to your hands. They are resting on the rail, or in your pockets, or by your sides. Let them go. Let the fingers uncurl. Imagine the tension flowing out of your fingertips like water. Your hands are useless now. They have no work to do. They are just weights pulling your shoulders down, away from your ears. 6. The sound of the water. Lap, hiss. It is moving away from you. It sounds distant now, as if you were wrapped in cotton wool. The world is retreating. The ship is becoming a cradle. You are curling inward, finding the warm center of yourself. 5. We are halfway down. You are sinking deeper into the feeling of slow. Your breathing has matched the rhythm of the ship. In for a long time, out for a long time. There is a pause at the bottom of the exhale, a moment of perfect stillness before the next breath begins. Rest in that pause. 4. The silence is getting thicker. It feels like a warm blanket being pulled up to your chin. It covers your chest. It covers your neck. It muffles the clicks of the metal and the sigh of the wind. Everything is muted. Everything is soft. 3. You are drifting. You are untethered. Like a boat whose rope has been untied, you are gently floating away from the dock. The current of sleep is catching you. It is a slow, gentle current. It carries you effortlessly. You don't have to swim. You just have to lie back and float. 2. Deeper now. Almost there. Your thoughts are fragmented and dreamlike. They are clouds passing in the dark. You watch them go without chasing them. You are heavy. You are warm. You are safe. 1. Total stillness. You have arrived at the bottom of the staircase. You are in the center of the quiet. Time has stopped completely. There is no tick. There is no talk. There is only this moment. Rest here. Feel the sensation of compression. The universe has shrunk down to just this warmth, just this breath. The vast Atlantic is gone. The towering ship is gone. There is only you, suspended in the amber of the night. It is a feeling of being swaddled. The night wraps you tight. It holds you together. You feel a profound sense of permission. Permission to stop. Permission to not think. Permission to be unconscious. The metronome in the deep has slowed to a stop. Thump. Silence. You are floating in the gap between the beats. It is a wide, dark, infinite gap. It is a place of absolute rest. Let yourself expand into this space. Let your boundaries dissolve. You are not separate from the quiet. You are part of it. You are the quiet. Stay here for a moment, in the timeless place, in the weightless place.
We have counted down. We have slowed the heart. We have stretched the minutes until they snapped, leaving us drifting in a timeless space. Now, in this deep quiet, we stop looking for sounds. We stop waiting for the next creak, the next footstep, the next bell. Instead, we turn our attention to what is left when the sounds are gone. We listen to the silence itself. In our noisy lives, we often think of silence as an absence. We think of it as a hole, a lack, an emptiness. We rush to fill it with talk or music or distraction. But here, on the deck of this great ship, under the dome of the night, you learn the truth. Silence is not an absence. It is a presence. It is a substance. It has weight. It has texture. It has a temperature. Feel it pressing against your skin. It is not aggressive. It is heavy and soft, like a quilt made of dark velvet. It wraps around your shoulders, layering over the wool of your coat. It tucks you in. Listen to the grain of the air. Even in the most absolute quiet, there is never true nothingness. There is a room tone to the universe. Here it is composed of the microscopic vibrations of the ocean, the air pressure of the wind, the dampness of the mist. Hush. It sounds like shimmering. It sounds like the static on an empty radio channel, but organic and warm. It is the sound of the world existing. Focus on the space between things. Look at the gap between the first funnel and the second funnel. That space is not empty. It is filled with silence. Look at the gap between the water and the lowest rail. That space is filled with silence. Imagine that the silence is a thick, dark liquid, like ink or warm oil. The ship is moving through it. You are submerged in it. It flows into your ears, soothing the tiny bones and nerves that have been vibrating all day. It tells them, rest now. You don't have to hunt for signals anymore. There is a profound relief in this. Your ears are always on guard, always scanning for danger or information. But the texture of this silence tells you there is no danger. There is only the vast, indifferent peace of the Atlantic. Listen to the aftersound. Wait for a tiny noise, perhaps the faint creak of a davit rope stretching. Creak. Now, watch what happens immediately after. The sound ends and the silence rushes back in to fill the hole. It reclaims the space. Swoosh. It heals the breach instantly. It is elastic. It is resilient. It absorbs the noise and buries it. This tells you that the silence is stronger than the noise. The noise is temporary. The silence is eternal. Think of the ocean beneath you, 2 miles deep. The surface has waves and wind and movement, but go down 10 feet and it gets quieter. Go down 100 feet and it is a hush. Go down a mile and it is a silence so absolute that it is heavy. You are floating on top of a mountain of silence. You are supported by it. This silence is not lonely. It is companionable. It feels like the silence of a library or a cathedral or a sleeping house. It is shared silence. You know that hundreds of other people are sleeping just beneath your feet, wrapped in the same quiet. You are breathing the same air. It creates a sense of intimacy. When you whisper in a silence like this, it feels like a secret. When you breathe, it feels like a prayer. Let's examine the temperature of the silence. The wind is cold, yes, but the silence feels warm. It feels insulating. It creates a buffer zone around you. Imagine you are inside a snow globe. The glass is the silence. Inside, everything is still and protected. Outside, the wind might blow, but it cannot touch you.
Allow this texture to seep into your body. Let the silence flow into your chest. Inhale, peace. Exhale, noise. Let it flow into your mind. Often when the outside world gets quiet, the inside world gets loud. Our thoughts start to shout. But the silence of the ocean is so vast, so majestic, that it awes the mind into stillness. It dampens the internal chatter. Your thoughts become slower. They become soft and fuzzy around the edges. They lose their urgency. Did I lock the door? It doesn't matter. The silence absorbs it. What about tomorrow? It doesn't matter. The silence absorbs it. You are left with a blank slate, a smooth, dark surface of mind that mirrors the smooth, dark surface of the water. Notice how the silence changes your perception of your own body. Without the distraction of sound, you feel your physical self more clearly. You feel the weight of your boots on the deck. You feel the warmth of your hands in your pockets. You feel the heavy, relaxed droop of your eyelids. You are becoming being of silence. You are blending in with the ship. If someone were to walk past you now, they might not even see you. You are just another shadow, another quiet shape in the dark. There is a holiness to this state. In ancient times, people went into the desert or the caves to find this kind of silence. You have found it here, in the middle of the sea. It cleanses you. It washes away the grit of the city, the car horns, the shouting, the ringing telephones, the clatter of machinery. All of that is gone. It belongs to a different planet. Here, there is only the elemental: wind, water, star, silence. You are returning to a primitive, restful state. Let the silence hold you up. Lean back against the bulkhead. You don't have to hold your head up. The silence is thick enough to support you. Rest. Feel the density of the air. It is rich with oxygen and salt. It nourishes you. Listen one more time to the very edge of your hearing. Strain your ears. What do you hear? Nothing. And that nothing is the most beautiful sound in the world. It is the sound of safety. It is the sound of a pause. It is the sound of the world waiting for you to sleep. The silence is a lullaby without notes. It sings, hush, hush, hush. It smooths the brow. It slows the pulse. It unknots the stomach. You are safe in the texture of the night. You are wrapped in the velvet of the void.
We have arrived at the threshold. The journey through the ship, through the night, and through the layers of your own awareness is nearly complete. You are standing at the very edge of sleep. The heavy velvet silence we found is now the bed you lie upon. But before you drift completely away, we will offer the mind one last thing to hold. A final, gentle pattern, a set of keys to lock the door of the waking world. The mind loves repetition. It loves the comfort of a return. So we will gather 3 small sounds, 3 motifs that have been with us on this journey, and we will let them say goodnight to you. They will be your lullaby. They will be the anchors that hold you safe while you drift in the dark. Listen for the first motif. It is the sound of the distance. It comes from high above, from the masts, from the stars. It is the tiny silver voice
of the ship's bell, not a loud alarm, but the faint, accidental chime of metal touching metal in the wind. Wait for it. Ting. There it is, a single, pure note. It sounds like a drop of water falling into a crystal bowl. It is clear, it is cool. It vibrates for a split second against the black sky, and then it is gone. Let this sound represent the outside world. When you hear it, it is a signal to let go of the horizon. You don't need to watch the ocean anymore. You don't need to check the stars. The bell is keeping watch for you. It says, the night is clear. The course is true. You can close your eyes. Let the mote fade in your memory. Ting. Now listen for the second motif. It is the sound of the warmth. It is closer. It is right against your ear. It is the sound of the heavy wool coat, the blanket, the pillow. It is the sound of shelter. Rustle. Shh. It is the sound of fabric settling. It is the friction of comfort. It is a dry, soft sound, like dry leaves or old paper. It lacks the sharp clarity of the bell. Instead, it has a fuzzy, blurred edge. It is a cozy sound. Let this sound represent your physical body. When you hear it, it is a signal to let go of your muscles. You don't need to hold your head up. You don't need to tense your shoulders against the cold. The fabric has you. The bed has you. The sound says, you are covered. You are warm. You can soften. Feel the texture of that sound. It is a brush of safety against your skin. Now listen for the third motif. It is the sound of the life. It is closest sound of all. It is inside you. It is the sound of your own breath, slowing down to the rhythm of sleep. It is a long, slow exhale. It is the sound of the wind leaving the sails. It is the sound of a weight being put down. It is warm and moist, contrasting with the cool bell and the dry wool. Let this sound represent your mind. When you hear it, it is a signal to let go of your thoughts. Imagine your thoughts are smoke, and this breath is blowing them gently away. They dissolve into the air. The sound says, the work is done. The thinking is over. You can rest. It is the most primitive lullaby, the sound of being alive and at peace. Now we have our three guardians, the bell, the cloth, the breath. Let us cycle through them one more time. Let them weave a net of safety around you. First, the star. Ting. High and far. Point of light in the darkness. It recedes. It moves further away, taking the world with it. The ship is just a speck now. The ocean is just a dream. Next, the shelter. Swish. Soft and near. The wrapping of the cocoon. The layers are heavy. They press you down. They hold you still. You are buried in softness. Finally, the release. Ha. Deep and internal. The surrender. The letting go of the last bit of control. You are not doing the breathing anymore. The breathing is doing you. These sounds are your farewells. You are saying goodbye to the sensation of cold. You are saying goodbye to the sensation of weight. You are saying goodbye to the sensation of time. Allow the sounds to blur together now. The bell becomes softer, like a memory of a sound. The fabric becomes stillness. The breath becomes a rhythm. They are fading, they are moving away from you, stepping back into the shadows to let you sleep. They are like friends tiptoeing out of the room. Ting. Shh. You are left in the center of the triangle, protected by the metal, protected by the wool, protected by the spirit. Feel the hypnotic power of this triad. It rocks you. 1, 2, 3. Bell, coat, breath, star, warmth, sleep. It is a circle. It has no end. It just spins slower and slower. Imagine the bell is a star blinking out. Imagine the coat is a cloud closing in. Imagine the breath is the tide going out. You are drifting on the wake of these sounds. You are floating behind the ship now, bobbing gently in the calm water, watching the lights fade into the distance. The sounds are traveling with the ship, but you are staying here. You are staying in the quiet. The motifs are becoming abstract. They are losing their meaning. They are just vibrations now, just gentle waves of energy washing over your brain, smoothing out the creases, washing away the day. You don't need to listen for them anymore. You know they are there. You know the ship is sailing. You know the coat is warm. You know the breath is steady. You can stop listening. You can stop waiting. Let the last bell ring in your mind, not in your ears. Ting. Let the last rustle settle in your memory. Shh. Let the last breath carry you over the edge. Everything is soft. Everything is slow. Everything is distant.
The bells have stopped ringing. The fabric has stopped rustling. Even the breath has quieted to a rhythm so faint it is almost invisible. We have reached the end of the deck. We have reached the end of the hour. We have reached the edge of the world, where the waking mind ends and the dreaming mind begins. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to see. There is nothing left to hear. You are floating in the perfect, weightless suspension of the night. Imagine for a moment that you are untying the last rope. You have been tethered to the ship, tethered to the deck, tethered to the sounds. But now, with gentle fingers, you slip the knot. Slip. The rope falls away. It slides silently into the water and disappears. You are drifting free. You are not falling. You are floating. You are being carried by a current of pure relaxation. The ship, that great, warm, steel city of light and sound, is slowly moving away from you. You watch it go without sadness. You watch its lights becoming smaller, turning into a cluster of warm stars on the horizon. You hear its engines fading to a hum, then to a whisper, then to nothing. It is sailing on, carrying the noise, carrying the history, carrying the energy. And you are staying here. You are staying in the peace it left behind. You are alone in the best possible way. You are alone with the peace. Feel the darkness wrapping around you. It is not cold anymore. It is not empty. It is a thick, warm fluid. It supports your back. It supports your legs. It supports your head. You can lean back into it with your full weight. It will catch you. The night is a great,
soft hand, and you are resting in its palm. Your body is heavy, so heavy. Your legs feel like stone sinking into the mattress. Your arms feel like lead sinking into the sheets. Your head feels like it is melting into the pillow. Gravity is your friend. It is pulling you down, 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 away from the surface, away from the light, into the deep, quiet center of the earth. Let your eyelids be heavy. They are sealed shut. There is no need to open them. The show is over. The screen is dark. The projector has been turned off. Inside your mind, the lights are dimming. The thoughts that were racing earlier are now slow, sluggish fish swimming in deep water. Let them swim away. Let them disappear into the gloom. You don't need to catch them. Release. Release the jaw. Let it hang loose. Release the tongue. Let it rest in the floor of the mouth. Release the space behind the eyes. Let it widen. Let it soften. You are unspooling. Like a ball of yarn that has dropped and rolled across the floor, you are unraveling into softness. The tightness is gone. The structure is gone. You are just a soft shape in the dark. Listen to the silence one last time. It is vast. It covers the ocean from one horizon to the other. It is the silence of the beginning of the world. It is the silence of the womb. It is a silence that forgives everything. It forgives the mistakes of the day. It forgives the worries of tomorrow. It says, you are enough. You are here. You can rest. Allow yourself to become smaller. You are not a person anymore. You are just a point of consciousness, a tiny spark of warmth drifting in the void. And now, allow that spark to dim. Dimmer, dimmer, glowing softly like an ember in the ash, safe, hidden, resting. The transition is now happening. You are crossing the bridge from the solid world to the dream world, from the sound world to the silent world. You don't need to walk across. You are being carried. The night is carrying you. The sleep is carrying you. Trust it. Trust the darkness. It knows the way. My voice is fading now. It is becoming just another sound in the night, like the wind or the water. It is moving further away. You don't need to listen to the words anymore. You only need to feel the tone of permission, the tone of safety. I am stepping back. I am leaving the room of your mind. I am closing the door gently behind me. Click. You are safe inside. You are warm inside. The ship is gone. The ocean is gone. The stars are gone. There is only this breath, and then the next one, and then sleep. Let go of the count. Let go of the image. Let go of the self. Sink. Sink deeper. Sink past the dreams. Sink into the deep, restorative dark. Sleep. 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 You are the silence now. Good night.